Hi everyone, Lucy Baker here. I'm a confidence coach and I help women to become confident inside and out. And often I'm speaking to people who come to me for confidence coaching and we really focus in on worry. And it's something that I wanted to talk to you about today because managing worry and managing your worry is something that when you get a handle on it, it really can help you to navigate through situations that are kind of out of your control. So managing worry is really important, and I'm going to give you some really handy steps to take to make sure that you are in control of your worry and that it doesn't kind of take over you. So worry is a normal thing, we all do it, but if you have steps in place to help you to kind of manage that, it stops it overtaking your thinking, like I said before. So only when our worry kind of takes over does it become excessive or chronic, and it can have really negative effects like stopping you sleeping, interfering with your appetite and your kind of digestion systems. It can have problems, give you problems in your relationship, at work, all sorts of things. So chronic worry is something that quite a few of us suffer from, and it is often a side effect of not having kind of confidence or self-belief, or being in tune with yourself and not kind of really trusting yourself to navigate through situations. Currently, in the current climate around the world, this March 2020, loads of people are suffering from increased anxiety and worry, and often moving into kind of panic as well. So taking on some steps to manage your worry is really important. So at the moment, I want you to ask yourself, how are you currently managing your worry? What do you do when you worry? Do you ignore it? Do you process it? Do you go through it? Do you talk about it? Do you share it? All of these things are really important to acknowledge. So how do you currently work on your worries? Okay, ask yourself that question. If you're drawing a blank, then you need to keep on watching this video. If you've got some steps in place, then brilliant. Are they effective? Are they helping you? Are they stopping you worry? Are they, helping you to kind of manage your worries? And that's what I'm going to be talking about in this video as well, so keep watching. One thing that is really important to point out at this point is when people say to you, or you say to other people, surrounding kind of worries, not to worry or don't worry, it really is one of the most unhelpful things that we can hear when we are worried. So we often have worries. They're valid to the person who's having those worries, who's going through those feelings. And if they're met with a response of, oh, don't worry about it, it really is very unhelpful. It's almost like saying to somebody who's in a panic or, really kind of in the middle of a panic attack or something like that, and saying to them, calm down. It really doesn't help to tell people to calm down or to not worry, or most often we hear don't worry. That's not helpful, is it? So, our worries are real. They may not have lots of evidence behind them, but at the moment that we feel them, they are real thoughts in our heads. So, be mindful of saying that to others as well. And if you're on the receiving end of people saying that to you, so don't worry about it. Explain that that's not helpful. And if it were the other way around, it wouldn't be helpful for other people as well. So it's really important to note that. Worry is often a result of external things. We all know that things around us can make us worry. So our children, our financial situation, illness, problems within the world, all sorts of things. Job worries happen all the time, and they are valid reasons to worry. But often, they are what if scenarios most often. So, along the lines of, well, what if I lose my job? Or what if my kids get ill? What if I get ill? Often when I'm talking to women and coaching women, one of the biggest beginnings of a sentence is, or the most common way to start a sentence is, what if? And often those sentences, are kind of unhelpful because they are projections and they are scenarios that are worrying us in the future, but we have no evidence that they're actually going to happen until they happen. I'm not saying that they aren't going to happen. I'm just saying at the moment, when you have these what if kind of scenarios in your head, they often are projections and we don't really have concrete evidence to say that they are going to happen. They're all, they're worries, they're things around us that we are projecting that will happen, and these create worries in our heads. So worry isn't external factors, it is often just the way we think. So we turn situations into a worry through our thought processes and the way that we think about things. And it's often whizzing around in your head and getting in the way of normal thinking, and often it can become, if it's excessive and you're doing it a lot, it can turn into chronic or excessive worrying that has very negative kind of benefits on your health, very negative side effects. So one of the things I want to help you to do is to be able to address your worries before they become excessive or chronic. So we fear things that will happen, but often, like I said, they are predictions. So when we learn this type of thinking, you recognise that you were thinking in a certain way, okay? So what that means is when you understand that your thinking is a what if, or something that's blown a little bit out of proportion in your head, you can acknowledge it as a worry. In your mind, you can almost feel that thought come in, and you can label it really, really boldly in your head as a worry. Put it in a category in your mind, if you like. That really helps you to kind of compartmentalise those feelings into an area in your mind, an area in your brain, an area in your thinking that isn't actually real life. They're real worries, they're real thoughts, but they might not have real life situations at the moment. So be aware. So step one is to really be aware of these thoughts and categorize them or label them as a worry, so that you are aware that they are a type of thinking. They're a thought in your mind. Another way to do that is to write them down on a piece of paper. So write, have a nice journal, have a area in the book dedicated to your worries, and write them down. So in black and white, in pen, you've got those those thoughts and those worries written down on paper, so you can kind of keep track of what they are. It's really important. So some tips now. I want to give you 6 tips on what you do when you're feeling very worried about something and how to manage your worries. So 1, acknowledge that it's a worry, label it in your head, write it down on paper, call it a worry. Don't be afraid to call it a worry. Number 2, get a journal. I'm just going to get my one here. Some kind of journal, and put an area in that book and write down your worries for what they are. Don't sugarcoat them, just write them down exactly how you're feeling them in your head and acknowledge that they're real. Journaling around the question, why am I worried? What am I worried about? Can really, really help on that level too. So 1 is acknowledge, 2 is journal, 3 is share. So share those worries, talk about them, be open, talk, share. And listen as well. If other people are coming to you with their worries, it's really important. It's great for confidence if you can kind of make that a two-way process. And listening is a real skill. Listening, as I learned many years ago in a sales job, you need 2 ears to listen and 1 mouth to talk, or something. I don't even think that was the expression, but use it. You've got 2 ears, so use them and really connect with people by just listening. Often zip your mouth and don't say anything, and that can really help. Number 4, don't over Google when you're worried about stuff. That can be a health, that can be around the COVID-19 problem, epidemic, pandemic. It can be all sorts of things. Don't over Google, and if it's bringing up feelings of real worry and anxiety, then really stop those behaviours. And that goes for social media as well. So we've got acknowledge, journal, share. That means talking and listening. Don't Google and overuse social media. Connect with others in every way that's safe and healthy for you, via Zoom, via video, via WhatsApp, whatever. So connecting with others and sharing is really, really important. And number 6 is to find that listening ear. So really find somebody who doesn't judge you and doesn't say to you, don't worry, because it really isn't helpful. Find that listening ear, connect with somebody who actually has time for you, and talk to them about how you're feeling. Okay, so that's 6 tips. And the biggest tip of all, so this is kind of number 7, I guess, is don't hide your worry away. Don't let it sit in your mind and fester. because you will go to bed at night not being able to sleep. You will be over worrying, it'll be taking over everything that you're doing. So really don't hide your worries. That's one of the biggest tips I can give you. So just to recap before I go, some really, really good things that you can do are journaling. You know, I talked about that in the 6 tips earlier. It gives you clarity of mind. It gives you some time to empty your head of thoughts and worries and anxieties. So get everything out on paper. If you need tips for journaling, message me. I'll put a way that you can contact me in the comments below. So please, you know, contact people and get advice. If you want to learn about journaling, then do that. But journaling is really important. Get yourself a lovely book, get yourself a really nice pen, and start emptying what's in your head, because I promise you, you'll go to bed feeling better. You know, like you've got a clarity of mind and you're not over worrying about stuff. Track your worries. I have a worry tracker. So, and I hand it out to people that I work with when I'm confidence coaching. So if you want to get a copy of that, then you have to try and let me know somehow. And acknowledge your fears. We talked about that as well. So really acknowledging everything that's going on in your head, anxieties, worries, fears, super important. And some other really lovely things that you can do are breathing techniques. So breathing in through your nose, out through your mouth, and really grounding yourself through your breath if you're feeling overwhelmed and anxious, and you're over worrying and overthinking about things. That's a really good way to do that, to kind of connect with yourself and just stop. Yoga, exercise, meditation are all fantastic. If you have a garden, if you have a TV, you can always find yoga videos, things that you can put on your smartphone and do out in the garden are really great for mental health and worries and clearing your head and feeling better about yourself. So that helps too. I said meditation. Music is so powerful. If you're feeling worried, your mind is occupied by worrying, get some music on that makes you feel good. Really tune in to some of the music that makes you feel good and makes you feel happy and reminds you of happier times, and get that music blasting out or in your ears. Reading's great as well. It's another good way to distract yourself. Connecting with others and trusting that everything is going to be okay is a really, really important thing to be able to do. Learning how to trust yourself is very important for confidence overall, and it's great for your peace of mind and your worrying mind as well. And lastly, but not least, one of my favourite sayings is you can't control what's happening around you, but you can control how you feel and how you respond. Really important to kind of remember that all of these things that happen around us, we have no control over whatsoever, but we can control how we react and how we talk to others and how we talk to ourselves. So there's some really, really good tips there for you. And if you have children, make sure you listen and get them to talk and get them to share as well. Other family members too, colleagues, friends, family, everybody. Encourage as many people as you can to talk as much as they can. It stops excess worrying, it stops chronic worrying, and hopefully we'll all feel a little bit more settled if we can manage our worries. Talk to you soon. Bye.